Tara, Owen Gibson, Dennis Richardson, Roger Howell. We pause as this one is hit down the ground on the front foot this time with a more vertical bat. Picks up a single best. Brings the total to 6 for no loss. So we're stopped at Dennis Richardson. There's also Roger Howell, George Reefer, George Harris, Patrick Barrow, Frank Skeet, and David Pitt. Nudged away for another easy single. So keeping the scoreboard ticking over this opening pair. Rotating the strike. So far we've seen Best face up to some 7 deliveries. Sealy has faced 3. As we say, a warm welcome to our viewers on the World Wide Web. And we say welcome to the Foursquare Oval, a mass over 50s Masters T20 competition 2024. A swing and a miss off the final delivery of the second over with the legends who are taking on the challengers today, winning the toss, electing to bat. And after 2 overs with Victor Best on 6 and Sean Sealy on 2, the total 8 for no loss. So welcome back. And with the Best back on strike. And again, the runs coming ones and twos, not necessarily drips and drabs, because it has been rather consistent, rather fluent so far. Yet to see a boundary. As I say once again, a warm welcome to all our viewers across the world, as this one is hit in the air over the head of the man in there at short mid-wicket, and the return comes in from the long-on fielder Gilbert Rock, while Sealy makes his ground at the non-striker's end to complete another couple. So 2 more to the Legends total. Best is up to 8. The total 11 for no loss. I repeat, the 11 for the Legends for you during the process of this over. Best is again hitting in the air, but well clear of any fielder, bringing that man off the boundary at long on. And this time the scoring restricted to just 1. So once again, Victor Best, Samad Mutara, Owen Gibson, Sean Sealy, Dennis Richardson, Roger Howell, George Reefer, George Harris, Patrick Barrow, Frank Skeet, and David Pitt making up the 11 for the Legends. And the left-handed Sealy awaits for Marshall, right arm over. showing a bit more aggression here this time. Asili getting it up to the fielder at mid-on. That looks like Don Lovell there at mid-on. So just one more. Again, strike rotated. William Lashley, Jefferson Gibbons, Gilbert Rock, Sherwin Ellis, Ainsley Jordan, Everton Batson, Philip Kinch, David Innes, Don Lovell, Carl Marshall, and Mark Seeley, making up the 11 for the challengers as this delivery is hit in the air. Chance for a catch. No, it's no chance for a catch. The ball falls into no man's land as the fielder there at short extra cover seems to have lost that ball somewhere as it lobbed above him because it looked an easy catch. In the end, Best gets a single. Marshall completes his second over. 3 overs gone. 14 for no loss. So let's say a special good afternoon to DJ Kurt. Sweet songs of Dennis Brown all around. We are here at the Foursquare Oval as the delivery is a widest delivery outside the all stump. Umpires Sheena Welch standing at the south and Ezra Marshall at the northern end. As Lashley goes past Welch now, and again, Best is hitting it airborne, but well clear of the fielders. Not afraid to go through the air, Victor Best, as he keeps this score ticking along to 16 without loss in the 4th over. Earlier today, we had the first match of the doubleheader, Limers and the Veterans. And the Veterans coming out winners. By some 37 runs. So Lashley opting to come between the umpire and the stumps around the wicket to Seeley, and Seeley is tickling this one away behind square, thinking of a single, but no response, at least no positive response from his partner at the non-striker's end, as looks like Gittins there at backward square. Short, punched away. Will only get one though, so not really timed that delivery. Bowled a very short delivery, and Seeley not able to get the power into that back foot punch. So he does get a single. He moves up to 5, brings Best on 11 back into strike as Lashley again maneuvering his fielders, the left hand, the right arm, left hand, right hand nature of the opening pair, creating quite a bit of work for the captain and his fielders. So we got 5 men in the off, 4 in the on, as Lashley is wide outside the off stump, and umpire Welch spreads the arms to signal a wide, the first extra of the innings. Well, actually, that's the second wide of the innings. Pitched up, driven down the ground. Man comes off the boundary at long off. They're going to take the arm on and successfully complete the second run. The return was wide. It was weak, causing no problems to Sealy in particular, who is coming back to that non-striker's end. Flighted this time. This time the ball traveling much straighter and much more quickly to that man at long off. So the batters immediately settle for the a single of the final delivery of the fourth over. And the Legends, after four, yet to lose a wicket on 21. So Carl Marshall will continue, and the bowls a short delivery, looking for the pull shot is best. Saw the Bills disturbed, but actually it was the keeper, Gibbons, removing the bill as the pull shot was missed. So Marshall gets through with a dot. 2 overs for 9 runs before this. And a bit of a wildest swing. We saw the head go into the air there from Best as he looked to lift this one somewhere over the onside. The ball coming off the inside edge. So getting a single in the dark, almost. As I was mentioning, the earlier game, veterans versus Limers. Veterans invited to bat. This time, this one is snapped away, out towards the deep mid-wicket area. The ball wouldn't have the legs to even challenge the boundary, and the ball pulls up inside the boundary, as does the fielder too, because he also pulled up and allowed for a third run. So showing a bit more intent there, Sealy, as he swatted that one away over the leg side field. Field made up of a man at backward square. Then there's a man just forward of square. There is a short mid-wicket and a mid-on. On the offside, there's a mid-off, deep, extra cover, sweeper at cover, backward point in the slip. And driving is Best, just stroking this delivery actually into the offside and trotting through for 1. So again, ticking along at a rate of 5.5 runs per over. Early days yet, still in the power play, 5th over in fact. So veterans 138 for 4 in their 20 overs. Winston Warren 31, Jeffrey Lafond, 26. Pedro Agard, 20, not out. Ron Bates at the top of the order, 15. And Brian Johnson, the captain, 16. Orion Bostic made 10. So all the batters getting a bit of a start. Michael Griffith left not out eventually on 4. But basically all the batters getting a start. And the bowling for the Limers. Looking to swing this one behind on the onside is Seeley. Getting it tangled in somewhere into his attire, but 4 wickets for 21 runs. So Victor Patrick, by far the most outstanding figures for the Limers. This one is a full toss, hit into the gap between forward square and mid wicket, but only a single. Having some problems with his timing, one notices Seeley lacking in power. Gets a single though off that last delivery. 27 without loss, and that's after 5 overs. Legends batting. So Captain Lashley to continue his spell. The final over of the power play. Bowls another full delivery. And the batter seems to have done more damage to himself than to the ball. A dot ball eventually. Swing, missed by everyone, batter keeper, and they also missed the stumps. As they come through for 2 byes. So the Limers, in reply to that 138 for 4 made by the veterans, held to 101 for 3 in their 20 overs. Concede defeat by some 37 runs. This one looking to swat it away into the gap there between extra cover and mid-off. Again, not timing the ball at all. I can't even to say timed it not well would be an overstatement. He just is not timing the ball at all. Well, he timed the leather of that one just in time to make me look bad. But if that is going to be my way of helping the situation, I'm not supporting the Legends or any team anyway. But well struck by Seeley, that one flighted up. And this time, as I said, he timed the leather of that ball, hitting it high, handsome and wide over the head of the long on fielder for the first maximum of the innings. Actually, it went for 4, not 6. So it did go for 4. So the first boundary nonetheless. At 33 for no loss. Last delivery of the power play. Another boundary. Up and over the infield on the leg side. Very stuff from last year. And Sealy now beginning to find the middle of the bat. His second boundary, the second of the innings. Power play done. Sealy on 17, best 16, 37 without loss. So we're going to see the first change of bowler where Everton Batson comes on for the seventh over. His first delivery is helped away over square leg. The ball trickling across the rope. So Best seems to have caught the boundary fever too. He gets his first. Batson starts with 4 to his account or to his debit. So Batson bowling off the same length of run-up that he's bowled all his life. Used to be quite sharp coming off just those 3 or 4 paces. Prime example of what you call stiff bowling, extremely stiff bowler, Everton Batson. So the field again adjusts for the left-handed Sealy. Batson right arm over the wicket. And outside the off stump, Sealy swinging, missing into the hands of the keeper. So as I mentioned, the Limers 101 for 3. 33 not out to Edward Ince and 24 unbeaten to Dave Estwick. This is over number 7, 4th delivery, as Sealy is hitting this one, crunching it down to a straightish mid-off, or through the straightish mid-off position. Rock from long off comes around and intercepts just the 1 run. Also, we saw 21 retired, not out from Roger Phillips. And Ken Mears at the top of the innings with 14. Hit away into the onside, a wide open space. This ball is going to travel I might have stretched the word tall. Victor Best on his toes, I should say, and stroking this ball back along on the onside of the pitch. Picks up a single, so Lovell trying to get his field in place now for the left-handed Sealy. Best on 27, Sealy on 18. Cover point. There's a long off. A fielder. Quite a lot of protection on the offside because we're going to have a cover. This is a slip. Backward point. Point deepish. Cover. Short extra cover. Straight. Long off. Long on. Mid wicket. Straightish. And the man behind square inside the circle saving one as an appeal comes from Lovell. Lovell and only Lovell. 49 without loss. Right arm over. And that should bring the 50 up for the Legends. They're going to come back for a second run to get it quite comfortably. Seem to have a knowledge of the abilities of these fielders because that ball was hit straight to the fielder and immediately they confidently came back for the second run. As the 50 comes up, or 47 deliveries. We've had some 4-4s so far. Lovell. Hit away. Over mid-wicket. Again. Boundary down the slope. It goes Sealy with the foot down on the accelerator now. He's decided to let loose. Normally, you have a situation where players try to exploit the open spaces. Because ever since the power play, this pair has decided that it is time to go, even with the fielding side allowed more protection in the deep. So 4 more to Sealy, his third boundary. That was to celebrate, I guess, the 50 for the Legends. Still trying to get his team, his fielders in place. One will become 2. Easy 2. So Lovell's first over comes to an end. 9 from it. And with a definite change in approach, the Legends beginning to press on. 57 without loss after 8. The Foursquare Oval, part of the grounds of the Foursquare Rum Refinery. I was reminded that I did refer to the Foursquare Rum Factory, but to give it its proper name, the award-winning, world-renowned Foursquare Rum Refinery, situated in St. Philip, the parish of St. Philip in Barbados. Lovely day for cricket it is too. Bright, brilliant sunshine, quite warm, bit of a breeze. Hint of a breeze, I should say. But Gilbert Rock, right arm medium, and his first delivery, timber. Swinging across the delivery best, missing and stumps disturbed. The challengers finally make a breakthrough. Rock a wicket with his first delivery best, bowled for 27, 25 balls, 2 fours, 57 for 1, 8 overs and 1 ball gone. So in at number 3, Owen Gibson, waiting to take his first ball. As Rock, immediate success. Going off a bit of a run, passes umpire Marshall. And this one is choked through the fielder there at square cover. Allowed for a second run. Ball straight to the fielder and straight through the fielder. So Gibson off the mark with 2. The Legends move on to 59 for 1. So with this victory earlier today, outside the all stump, through the defense of Gibson, now rehearses what he may have done, look to steer that delivery down to a fine third position. A man at short third is quite wide. Point, cover, mid-off, long on, deep mid-wicket, man deep at square. Rock is on the legs, ripped, turned away into the backward square area, and only 1 run the result. So this victory for the veterans earlier today, their 4th so far in the tournament, which means that they have been unbeaten so far and on to the top of the standings with 12 points. Well, 12 points before today, now 16 points to head the standings. tucked away behind square for a single. The Limers also completing 4 matches unbeaten until the defeat by Veterans earlier today. They will finish in second place on 12 points from their 4 matches. The other team collecting points, the Travelers. As Rock is in, outside the leg stump. Lovely take by keeper Gibson, rolling back the years as he skips down the leg side, whips the Bills off, but the batter Gibson firmly in his ground. So challengers seeking to get off the mark in this game, which is their third. They will play against the Travelers tomorrow. Legends are also yet to win in what is now their third game of the preliminary. So the format assures that the Veterans and the Limers will meet in the first qualifier. Rock is outside the off stump. The ball is to keeper Gibbons, and the signal of bye would come from umpire Marshall to complete the 9th over. A successful one for Gilbert Rock. 1 wicket for 5 runs, and the Legends 63 for 1. So the action continues on the field. Donovan Lovell to bowl his second over. Hit up to mid-wicket by Gibson for a single. Bowling some darts here, Donovan Lovell. Looks like an off-spin action, but can't see a lot of spin being imparted. No amount of revs on the ball. Just looking to dart it in to the wicket, wicket to wicket. Essentially, here he comes. And again, this one is hit to that man in the covers. And the batters immediately threw for 1. So left-handed Sean Seeley gives way to the right-hander in Owen Gibson. Just slight change in the field. As this one is set away high over the mid-wicket area. The ball is going to bounce and just about trickle over the boundary at deep mid-wicket, hitting this one into the fan on that big side, the side from which the wind comes. But Gibson making good, clean contact and hitting it. No danger whatsoever, high away out towards deep mid-wicket. So he gets into the boundaries column. The total goes up to 69 for 1. Gibson on to 8. This time Lovell is pitching this one much fuller length. Gibson again looking to apply the long handle, but getting it off the bottom of the bat. Ball actually just trickling back along the pitch. This one angling down the leg side, looking to go with the flow there with something of a sweep. It's actually been signaled a wide, so no contact with the bat. So one wide, and also the batters did cross for one, so 2 runs added to the total. 71 for 1. 2 deliveries left in over number 10. Lovell to Seeley has a big swing and he's given leg before. So reward for the bowler Lovell, keeping that rather straight stump to stump line. And this time Seeley looking to go across, looking to go somewhere out towards the deep middle area, looking to go with the wind. Doesn't make contact with the bat. The ball makes contact with the pad. And Lovell wins the verdict from umpire Welch. Seeley gone for 28, 71 for 2 at the end, as we near the end of the 10th over. So George Reefer, a former Barbados player at both the junior and senior levels. The new batter coming to the middle. And for his first delivery, he is stroking it down through mid-off, brings the man from long off into play, crosses for a single, brings the total to 72 for 2 at the end of 10 overs. The refreshment break having been taken at the fall of Seeley's wicket. Sean Seeley, leg before wicket to Donovan Lovell for 28, faced some 27 balls, and he struck 3 fours. So wickets to Lovell and Gilbert Rock, the two change bowlers. Conditions changing slightly. It's gotten a lot cooler here at the Foursquare Oval. And Rock will continue. Just opening the face and nudging this one to a short, fine short third. Reefer turns the strike over to Gibson. The Legends looking to score their first points in this, the final match of their preliminaries. Actually, the preliminary round in the competition close out tomorrow. As this one is whipped away, off the toes, high, out towards deep mid-wicket. They're going to come for 2. They had enough time to run 2 and then 2 more, but they've decided to stay on 1. Maybe a tactic, some sort of strategy. Playing a check defensive shot there, George Reefer. Easing onto the front foot, bat and pad close together. Classy player, Reefer. Something of a prodigy during his days at the Combermere School. Gets the delivery outside the off stump, looks to again looking for that area on fine on the offside. This time doesn't make contact. Gibbons standing up to the wicket. So I've been joined, or I have commissioned Pedro Agard, who's joined me here at the commentators table. Get this delivery from Rock, and Gibson, nice wristy flick out towards square leg, gets just the one run. So that is it at the end of over number 11. Rock, 2 overs for 9 runs. And the Legends, 76 for 2. So Lovell will continue. And Gibson plays all around a delivery on the off stump. Pedro Agard, a man batting with a cutlass.
Good evening to you, Wayne, and good evening to listeners and viewers here on the Anything Let Cricket Let Start Network. An ugly shot there by Owen Gibson. Should know really know better. We are here at the Foursquare Oval with the wicket tends to keep a little bit low. But a really ugly shot looking to go across the line, and Don Lovell picking up his first wicket. But good result there for those them, because this field, this team, a target of 100, and if they get themselves up to 120, 125, it will be definitely runs on the board which will need to be chased. And I played here this morning, I can tell this wicket is not going to be easy to bat in on the second innings.
Well, so relatively risk-free batting so far by the Legends. As we go down into the second half of the innings, I'm sure that we would expect them to show a bit more urgency.
Yeah, just some intent. You know, these guys, you got to remember all these guys are over 50 years old. So they're still a little weak in the arms, so they're not clearing a lot of boundaries. Their legs are a little bit wobbly, so they won't be running too many threes, and they'll be hesitant against the twos. But I think the word here must be intent. Just need to show some intent.
Lovell is in to bowl to the new batter, Frank Skeet, and the ball slips from the gloves of the keeper. Close call there for Skeet. Frank Skeet. With Gibson gone bowled by Lovell for 10, 76 for 3. Again, he's on that all stump. Skeet is giving himself some room towards the leg side and chopping this one daintily behind point. Gets off the single in some style. But Pedro, you talk about the guys being over 50 and all the problems encountered. I'm sure you're speaking from personal experience.
Well, no, not for me personally. I'm the fittest I've been in years. So I don't have any issues at all. I'm 20 pounds lighter. I feel really fit. I feel really good. I have not been tired one single game. So the other guys are struggling, but I've been good.
Okay. So Skeet faces up to Lovell. Again, he's short, looking this time for more power and hitting it hard into the ground and not going for what could possibly have been a single. But Pedro, this competition though, among those who have been involved, how long have you been involved in this?
Well, from the inception, I played from the first year, and it's always been a very, very good competition.
Pitches up, does Lovell hit down the ground, back over the head of the bowler, chase around for the man at long off. He's going to get it, William Lashley, inside the rope, directly behind the bowler, and the batsman trot through for 2. So how much do you look forward to this competition?
Well, listen, I still play in the BCA domestic competition, but this over 50s competition gives you a chance really to play with and against a lot of your peers, guys you've grown up with, playing against and with, and it was really competitive.
Hit hard, down to long off. Picked up cleanly by Lashley. Clearly one of the better movers in the challenger's side. And at the end of that, over number 12, the Legends winning the toss and batting with Reefer on 3. Skeet just coming to the wicket on 5, are 81 for 3. So rock to bowl the Skeet. Gets the delivery outside the off stump, keeping somewhat low Keeper Gibbons standing back, taking it down by the bootlaces. So it's a dot ball.
All right, so I was telling you, man, the camaraderie in cricket is really good. I mean, a lot of guys will say to the best part of cricket is like, we played game one. This part now in cricket is done. that's the good part of this cricket. And if you understand me, you understand what I mean.
Driven nicely, sweet looking shot. You get a couple at least. Skeet. So yes, without having to divulge your political allegiance, you sound like you're a socialist.
I don't know if you mean a socialist or a drinkist, because I like a beverage after cricket. So you don't have to be politically correct with me. We play this cricket for the fun, but we play it more for the after, what do you call the after party? The after cricket entertainment. Well, so that's the best part.
Well, I'm looking out here towards the Foursquare Rum Refinery, Rum Aging Bonds. So you think that this is the ideal location that you're suggesting?
Well, I can tell they're the agents for Haroon Beer, and we've definitely, so far, since we've indulged in a case or two. So, listen, any club that is watching this should be interested in hosting games because the bar will do well. That's for certain. We will support the bar. Your club will make money.
We are here for the beer, Pedro says. As the total goes up to 84 for 3. And Rock, with the wind beginning to pick up now, it's gone from a light hint of a breeze to a very stiff.
Well, that's been the forecast for the entire weekend. We actually had a couple of that in our game as well. Yeah. But what's been happening, we found the rain was coming over, but because it's high breeze, it's been going over pretty quickly. Right, so you wouldn't expect that if there's an interruption that it'll be too long. So really good conditions for cricket. And got to give kudos again to the ground staff. They've done another good job today, again, with the outfield and the surface.
Rock is seeing Reefer easing onto the front foot, strokes it to the fielder at cover. Again, Reefer looking quite easy at the crease. So 86 for 3.
You know, you mentioned Reefer looking easy, but when you have the name like Reefer, that comes pedigree. It's like even if you buy a 1997 BMW, you expect it to work at a certain level. You know, that Reefer name carries a lot of pedigree. You know, Floyd, Raymond, Leslie, and so that Reefer name, especially when you get in St. George and you happen to pass by that Sheffield cricket ground. I mean, that's like a Reefer stronghold.
Very much so. George, I suspect around a 1971 model. Gets a full delivery.
George can be a 71 model because I'm a 70. So George needs to be about 65, 66 model.
Well, no, when I said I mean going to secondary school.
You went secondary school in 71. Well, you put some age on him there.
So at the end of over number 13, some call it a superstitious number. 87 is the total. 3 wickets gone. So 87 for 3 from 13. Carl Marshall, 3 overs, 15 runs. William Lashley, 3 overs for 20. Everton Batson, 1 over for 11. Don Lovell, 2 wickets for 23 runs from 3 overs. Gilbert Rock, 3 overs, 15 runs and 1 wicket. And we now see the introduction of the 6th bowler to the attack, Ainsley Jordan. Slow left arm to come from the southern end. Bowling over number 14. As a matter of fact, right arm wrist spin. And his first delivery, a gentle loopy delivery to Reefer, who comes onto the front foot, drops it away into the onside. There is no run. So an interesting bowler, Jordan, as slow can be. Right arm over the wicket, outside the off stump. Reefer comes across, has a look, and then withdraws the bat into the gloves of the keeper. It goes.
So we just call him Ainsley the Magician Jordan.
Well, let's see what magic he's going to conjure up here, as this one is clipped away back along the pitch. Good work by the fielder coming around from that short mid-on position, straightish mid-on position.
So we just got some tickets here in the booth, and I'm willing to give it away as a prize if you want to, because they don't do dances at all, but we got to support Sue. Tell you about it a little bit.
Down the track comes Reefer, and slightly deceived he was by the flight there from Jordan, but having the awareness to make the adjustment. Gets a single though, as it brings Skeet on to strike. And that one is a long loopy, long hop wide of the off stump. Through the keeper it goes. The umpire signals wide. Some suggestion, Pedro, that it might have bounced a second time, but I suspect the second bounce was after it passed the crease.
Yeah, you remember these guys that are saying that over 50, they don't see as well as they used to. So they might have thought it was bouncing twice in front. Yeah, I'll give them a break. I can give an interesting stat in a minute.
Jordan to Reefer. Between the bowler and Ellis there at that short mid-on position, gets a single.
It'll be interesting to note, throughout this tournament, there have been a lot of drop catches. But what's interesting is that everyone in this tournament over 50 years old, all of them wear glasses. But none of them play cricket in their glasses and then wonder why they keep dropping catches.
Well, I do wear glasses. Outside the off stump. Swing and a miss. So a very, very good start for Jordan. Just the 4 runs coming out of his first over. The 14th of the innings is 91 for 3. And after this break with DJ Kurt, Pedro is going to tell you about the prize.
Well, before we get DJ Kurt, I can tell you the prize first. We have Sue's grand birthday dance coming up. It's at 8 p.m. on Saturday, April 27th this year at Buddy's Soca Lower State, St. George. Sue's birthday is actually on the 24th, but she's on her birthday on the 27th. So she just gave me a ticket, which obviously I have to purchase. And since I will not be going to dance, anybody that can tell me what was the margin of victory for that first game which was played can actually get this ticket. It's easy like that.
So yes, 1 ticket for Sue's birthday dance coming up tonight at Buddy's Soca. April 27th. No, I'm saying Saturday. April.
The rare one is that you're actually wearing your glasses and you still saw tonight. April the 27th. Sue's birthday is on the 24th.
April 27th.
So it's at Buddy's Soca. The question is the margin of victory for the first game. The first person that can come and tell me that can have this ticket. The umpires are not eligible. Or the players.
Or the players. Or does any player, just the players who participate in that match?
Any players that participate in that match.
Well, we've actually brought, see the introduction of a 7th bowler. It's going to be Philip Kinch. Coming in to bowl the 15th over of the innings. 91 for 3.
But this is a really good start by the Legends. Remember, they won the toss and decided to bat. As I said, conditions here at the Foursquare Oval, it will get a little bit more difficult for batting as the day goes on.
And I've noticed too that the ball has already begun to stay down at that northern end, at that southern end of the ground, with the bowler bowling from the north.
Yeah, and initially that end was very wet this morning as well, and the ball was really gripping at that stage, and it was spinning and bouncing, but now it's beginning to stay low.
So, Pedro, you've got a couple of contestants for that.
So we have
prize.
two people who said Commission was the margin of victory. Commission 37 runs. So 37 is correct. And since we have two people, what we're going to do, we're going to ask Sue to bring another ticket. We're going to give each of them a ticket. So Sue, bring another ticket because we're going to purchase two tickets here, and both of them will win the ticket. So we do it like that here.
Short, pulled away. Ellis on the deep mid-wicket boundary. Ellis on the deep mid-wicket boundary. Ellis on the ground at the deep mid-wicket boundary. The ball into the boundary for 4. Brings up the brings the total to 96. So Ellis having some problems there in the deep. Notice something I've observed here, Pedro. You are a player, you might be able to enlighten me. I've noticed so far today, let's see, there have been some 5, 6, 7 boundaries set. 6 have come on the western side of the ground.
Virat Kohli is on the best batsman in the world. He goes Kwami's right as well, so why shouldn't we?
No, I'm suggesting that side of the ground, the ball hardly goes into the boundary on the eastern side.
Yeah, and it's against the wind, it's a little bigger as well, but guys tend to challenge this boundary here on the northern end because it's with the wind, and it's usually a better option, really. That's why teams who have a left hand inside would like to use them to bat darkness into, again, attack that boundary with the wind, because hitting against this wind at the Foursquare Oval could be disastrous. But again, as I said, not a lot of cash are taking it deep, so you can play the odds when you're playing over 50 cricket.
Something of a slope too, I noticed. The ground grades away towards
yeah, and it tends to run. As I said, we got to give some credit to the creator as well, because he's been able to get the field a little bit lower this week. It was grass was a little bit tall last couple of weeks with that on-off rain, but he did a lot of work this week, and he's gotten the outfield at least trimmed very, very low. And we want to thank the Foursquare Oval and the Pickwick Club for actually hosting this here.
I must agree with you. The outfield a lot faster today. Been some comment. I've received some feedback actually from some of our local persons you and I may know who are now living overseas, who would have actually played cricket in earlier times in Barbados. One Steve Linton. You familiar with that name? Steve Linton, a former Carlton and Banks player.
Yeah, I know Steve Linton well. The unfortunate thing for Steve, and I hope he's listening, is that when they played against him, he played against a good bowling attack. He never scored a lot of runs. But he's not a bad cricketer.
Yes, he was telling me how he enjoyed the actually watching you guys do your stuff as Jordan strikes, leaving Reefer stranded down the pitch. One flighted up and Reefer invited to come for the big swing. But then when he got there was no ball to be hit. He was just swinging at air, and the keeper had the easy task of breaking the stumps. Reefer gone for 9. It's 96 for 4.
Yeah, Ainsley Jordan bowls 2 deliveries, slow and slower. So using your feet, you're always taking a chance. Reefer, again, doing what the team needed, really looking to push on at this stage, but he went to leg miss, and in the end, easy stumping there by keeper Gibson.
So So, special shout out to Steve Linton on a cold Saturday afternoon up there in jolly old England. Dennis Richardson, the new batsman, and he's off the mark with the first delivery. Some swift moving from Mark Seeley there in the deep.
Yeah, Mark Seeley makes being 50 looks really, really easy. A lot of people are inspired to be like him. He's a fit young man. We're going to call him a young 50.
Choosing to stay at home, Skeet, and hits it down to the man at long off. They come back for a second run. I was tempted to say on the arm of the fielder. But every fielder has no arm, Pedro. Help me out. What would I say?
A shoulder. It's like doing pork chops.
Flatter delivery from Jordan. And again, Seeley brought into action, loping around that boundary on the offside. Again, keeping the scores down to 2, but that brings up the 100 for the Legends. 101 for 4 at the end of 16 overs. So 16 overs exactly, 101 deliveries, 7 fours, the main scoring shots. Legends, 101 for 4 after 16. Well, yes, the purpose here for the Legends will be to get as many runs as they can from these last 4 overs, as this delivery directed down the leg side by Kinch. Cross his side wide, and an extra delivery. Philip Kinch, slow, right arm over, as Richardson goes for a big drive. The ball peels away behind square, just for 1. So the boundaries have been a little hard to come by. But then again, not a lot of pace on the ball. Frank Skeet, a strong hitter in his day, gets the delivery wide of the leg stump, looks for the sweep. Another wide. 104 for 4. So the preliminary rounds in the competition conclude tomorrow with that game between the Challengers and the Limers and Travelers. Challengers and Travelers. Much better directed delivery this time from Kinch. And Skeet can do no more than just drop it away into the onside. Gets an easy single. The fielder is quite deep on the onside, even those within the area of the restrictive circle. As Richardson is swinging this one away, wide of the fielder Ellis. Ellis comes around. This time he gets down, gets behind it. The ball is going to have to be relayed up to the wicket though.
Someone in the back of the contributors was asking, how come Ellis hasn't bowled since he just bowled in that return?
Well, yes, he a bit having a what you call bowler's shoulder or bowler's elbow.
Ellis has bowler's elbow.
2 runs to the total, 107 for 4. As Richardson again looking for a big shot, just managing to tug it back along the wicket.
Yeah, at least Richardson is showing intent, and that's all you can ask at this stage. It's not an easy wicket or easy ground to score boundary zone, but at least he's trying. He's showing intent, getting that ball over through the 30-yard circle. He's bowled down this time.
Well, looking with intent to go down the ground. Again, this time missing. And that off-stump rock back. Kinch has some success. He has the last laugh. Richardson goes for 4, but not to be held against him in any way. The important thing right now is to score and to score as quickly as they can. 107 for 5 as Pitt is the next man in, that being David Pitt, the next batter in. 107 for 5, 16.5 overs. The sun returns with us here at Foursquare Oval. And Kinch closes out the 17th over with a dot ball to Pitt. 107 for 5 with Frank Skeet there not out on a 17. Best 27, Seeley 28, Gibson 10, Reefer 9, and Richardson 4. The batters dismissed so far. 2 wickets to Don Lovell, 1 each to Gilbert Rock, Ainsley Jordan, and Philip Kinch. It will be Jordan to continue from that southern end. As I mentioned, final preliminary round game tomorrow. Challengers and Travelers. And game will have some bearing on the qualifiers for the first eliminator. Those qualifying for the first qualifier have already been determined. The veterans and limers at the top of the table. As Jordan will continue to bowl to Skeet. Skeet goes off the back foot. Looks to crack it away to the outside.
When you don't have to feel bad by saying that veterans stop the table, you know. You can make that public. The veterans have played undefeated. And only one team has managed to score 100 runs against the veterans. They've scored 101.
Well, you
can make that public, man.
Well, you are the man with the stats.
I won't be offended if you say it out loud.
Well, no, but I did say the veterans and the limers topping the table and qualifying for.
No. Only one team can top. The veterans top. The limers was next best.
And they will meet in the first qualifier next Saturday,
10 a.m.
February 3rd at 10 o'clock.
The funny thing is, man, it's everything to play for in more ways than one, because whoever loses that game has to play on Sunday at 2. So it'll be a long weekend for somebody.
As Jordan, Pitt deciding to stand his ground, play off the back foot. But as you say, Pedro, Jordan slow and slower.
And then he also has a slowest.
Short delivery, punch down the ground. They go for 1. Will only stay on 1. Good movement by William Lashley. Looking like one of the younger over 50s, Lashley.
Yeah, he trains a lot. I mean, he has a son that takes part in the Tathlons, and he trains with him. So he's a guy who's constantly training, whether it's riding, swimming, does some what's called air surfing as well.
As this delivery is outside the off stump, left alone by Skeet.
Well, wind sailing is the term. So
Right.
William Lashley definitely one of the fitter over 50s you'll see around. Remember
Wide
William,
of
sorry
leg
not across here. William actually played for the West Indies over 50s in South Africa last year. Himself and Ian Drates, they were the representatives from Barbados. So Ian is and both William pretty fit guys at this level.
So these guys in relatively good shape. Off the back foot goes Skeet. He's also looked in good shape. Frank Skeet. He gets a single into the deep on the outside.
Yeah, this ends by Skeet has been pretty good. If he can just get himself into other gear, 19 from 19 balls, which means he hasn't soaked up a lot of deliveries, he's been able to rotate straight. He looks good. If he can get himself into a second gear and pick up a couple of boundaries, that 120, 130, definitely on the cards. That 113 for 5 after some 18 overs. So even if they go out and run the ball from here, they'll definitely end up with plus 130, and that will be a target they can defend.
Well, they will have to defend it if they want to be part of that qualifier 2 or the eliminator on the afternoon next Saturday at the Barbados National Oil Company, because that is where the third place team will meet the fourth. The winner going on to clash with the loser of the qualifier 1.
The problem with that, Wayne, is like being at school and you walk away from the principal giving you lashes and you go home to more lashes from your dad. Because if they win and they meet either the Varens or Lemons, they're going to be in for a bad beating anyhow. So it's going to be rough.
Well, Kinch is finding that middle stump. Skeet looking to go big, looking to go down the ground, plays around the delivery and has his stumps disturbed. He goes for 19. Kinch gets the second wicket. It's 113 for 6. So in comes George Harris. Frank Skeet bowled by Philip Kinch for 19. Struck 1-4. You talked about the reefers earlier, Pedro. And the name Harris. Again, cricket runs through the family. Not the numbers, but the prolific numbers of the reefers, but a set of brothers who all can take of having attained somewhat in local cricket and even above.
Let's say they turn up. This is an interesting move, though, to have George back down the order. You know, he's an opening batsman by bringing here at the Pickwick Club and elite, intermediate, first division, whatever you want to call it. And he's down the order here today with a roll rate to play. Not a lot of overs to get going, but as I said, he is also a pretty prolific scorer in this over 50s tournament.
Well, yes, I recall seeing him representing in the international tournament that was held here somewhere early last year, and doing very, very well too.
He used to be a veteran as well, so he has pedigree.
He has his training here. Down the pitch comes Pitt. When he gets there, looks to hit this one down the ground. Gets it over the head of the cover fielder. Comes skating back for a second run. Gets home safely.
You know, David Pitt used to be about 6'3", 6'4", but old age, bad knees, and bow legs, he's about 6 feet now. You ever see a guy get short as he get older? That's David Pitt.
Well, I've seen that. As you said, as his legs begin to bow.
He's growing down.
Sometimes the back can also hump over. Down the ground comes Pitt. Drives straight. Gets a single. So looking towards that something like 130 here, the Legends.
I say Legends just continue to do what they've been doing, show intent. And that's all you can ask really. As I said, it's not a big boundary hitting ground here at the Foursquare Oval, so intent is the ultimate word.
Harris is stepping into this one and driving into the outside. There's a chance for a second run. Harris is quite keen to come back. Harris has run 2 runs. Actually, he ran the entire length of the pitch, then he ran halfway up and back. So that's 2 runs he's actually run, but no response from Pitt at the striker's end.
Let's hope the old adage of refusing to run doesn't bring a wicket, because the Legends need these two to go on, at least to close off this, and it was some kind of momentum.
Yes. Looking for a bit of a flourish towards the end as this delivery is tucked away into the onside. They go for 1. Jordan comes in from short mid-wicket. Now Kinch is keen on going for the second run, and Harris has his hands up like a traffic cop. No, stay where you are. Over number 19 gone, so there's 1 over left, and the Legends at 119 for 6, looking to get up to 130. A 119 for 6 at the start of the final over. Down the track comes Pitt, hits this one away. Down to Lashley at long on for a long one. 120 it is. Harris. George Harris, the left-hander. So Jordan, the only bowler who will complete the full allotment of 4 overs. We've seen 3 from Marshall, 3 from Lashley, 1 from Batson, 3 from Lovell, 3 from Rock, and 3 from Kinch. Some 7 bowlers used by Captain William Lashley for the challenger. Short delivery, pulled into the deep. Mark Seeley comes around, fields it on the first bounce. They're going to come for the second run. The return is taken on the full, but Harris is able to come back for the second as the keeper Gibbons drawn away from the wicket. One, 2 for 6. 4 deliveries left. Driven wide of that man in that short cover. Are they going to come back for 2? Pitt is keen to. He's coming back. The return comes in to the non-strikers and low to the bowler, Jordan. But Pitt easily into his crease. So 124 it is now. With 3 balls left. 1, 2, 4 for 6. Pitt is coming back for a non-existent second run, basically sacrificing his hand. David Pitt looking for a second run, overcommitting, and the return coming in from Ellis, I think it is in the deep. Way out of his crease. Pitt run out for 8. 124 for 7.
Well, the old adage, it takes 2 to run a single. And you all also reminded Pitt was committed, and 53 years in a couple of days. If he had tried to stop there, he would like to pull 2 hamstrings, a groin, and probably an ankle. So he continued to run. Joe Harris, he's a pilot. So once he put up his hand and he said, that's it, that's it. So it took 2 to run the single, and then no real commitment from Harris this around. That second, David Pitt looking to show intent, comes back to pavilion, run out for 8. So that is the fall of the 7th wicket with just a couple of deliveries left.
Well, you did say Harris is a pilot. He's probably accustomed to flying, not really running. So Howell it is, with 2 deliveries left. He'll have the strike, facing up to Aisley Jordan, and he is going to, off the top edge, the ball drops ahead of the fielder there at short third. So he gets a single off the outer edge. 125 it is for 7. George Harris to face the final delivery of the innings of the legends who won the toss and elected to bat in this, the penultimate match of the preliminary rounds, as Harris is down the wicket, lifting this one high away towards the wide long on position. He's going to come back for just 2, as Ellis again is doing some good work in the deep, moving around to his left. 2 runs off the final delivery of the innings. The legends, 127 for the loss of some 7 wickets after winning the toss and electing to. But at the end, George Harris left not out on 9. Roger Howell not out 1. Ainsley Jordan 4 overs for 24 runs with the 1 wicket. The other wicket takers, Philip Kinch 2 for 17. Don Lovell 2 for 23. And Gilbert Rock 1 for 15. The challengers require 129 to win when they go to the middle.
Well, I think 120 really on these conditions at this level, 150-year-old plus guys, is just about par. So they're just about 7 runs above par. The challengers will need someone to play a steady innings. It can't be a steady innings that'll run the ball, because it means that that person scoring run the ball will probably be scoring the quickest over his team, and it means they will not get 127s. So 127, a fighting target. The Legends, a lot of work to do, but the challengers will think that they're in with a chance here, and the Legends also will think 127. After seeing the first game where 138 won comfortably, they'll have to believe that they have a chance here.
Well, the light roller is going to be employed, and we will tell you all about it when the match resumes in just short of 10 minutes' time. Amas over 50s Masters T20 2024, coming to you live from the Foursquare Oval in St. Philip, Barbados. And we have the challengers coming into this match. Their third, yet to get off the mark, but looking to make a mark. And they've opened with a mark. Mark Seeley gets the first delivery that is down the leg side. Roger Howell, the bowler, wide is the signal. The challengers up and running. The target 129 after the Legends won the toss and finished 128 for 7 from their 20 overs. Still an opportunity to be in the eliminator, the second qualifier for teams finishing third and fourth in the round robin at stake here between these two teams. Neither team getting on the points table. So Mark Seeley and Carl Marshall, a long-time stalwart in local cricket. He's going to take the strike now, and he's clipping this one away into the onside. They go for one. There's some hesitation and then a decision not to go for that second run, as Pitt from long on comes in swiftly enough to deter the pair from looking for a second run. So Marshall off the mark. Extras off the mark. Seeley yet to score. Howell right arm over the wicket. And Seeley is clipping this one off the toe. Straight to the field. That square leg. The return comes in at the striker's end. Marshall makes his ground. The return low to keeper best. But a chancy single there by the pair. Get Seeley off the mark now. As Howell is in again. Gets this one on the full as Marshall strokes it quite sweetly. Straight back along the onside of the pitch. But just a single. So bright, beautiful sunshine at the Foursquare Oval once again. Seeley is playing an immaculate forward defensive shot, just lunging onto the front foot, allowing the ball onto the face of the bat. Match being watched by a bubbly gathering here in the Pickwick Pavilion, as Howell is again into Seeley. Getting all the technical aspects right, getting that left foot forward, head over the ball, watching it onto the face of the bat, keeping it along the ground. This one angling in onto the hip. Our Seeley, who is turning it around, but straight to Frank Ski, that backward square. The end of that very first over. And just steady stuff from both sides. 6 runs from the first over. The challengers, 6 without loss. So just a definitely change in the tempo from DJ Kurt as we head into the final quarter of the day's proceedings. And Sean Seeley, left arm, picking up the bowling at the southern end. As I mentioned, the final quarter of today's proceedings, which got going at 10 this morning with the first match of the day's doubleheader, Veterans and Limers. And since then, we've had the first innings of the Legends here in this match, and now the replay of the Challengers. Seeley bowling, well, Seeley to Seeley, left arm around the wicket, and Mark Seeley looking for the drive. The ball peeling off the outside edge, running down into the third area, and only one. But interesting action here from Sean Seeley, who I'm seeing for the very first time. Rather low in trajectory, almost round armish kind of action. At least a couple of deliveries we've seen so far. As here he comes again. And Marshall is hitting it through the covers. This is going to go close to the boundary. Chase here, pull back just inside the rope. And they're going to come for the third run as the throw has to be relayed into keeper best. But a nice looking shot by Kenrick Marshall off the back foot and stroking it crisply through the infield. Remember, the power play, only 2 fielders allowed outside of the restrictive circle. So now we're going to see a slight change in the field where the deep cover, the sweeper, is going to be employed. The long off fielder has been brought up inside the circle. The other man in the deep is that man at long on. As Seeley is into Seeley. And Mark Seeley stroking this one again, quite pleasantly. Brings that fielder in the deep at cover into action. They go for one. 12 without loss. As Carl Marshall back on the strike. This delivery is outside the off stump, keeping a bit low. And Marshall looking to get across and slap it behind point, doesn't. Playing over the top of the delivery. Wicketkeeper best standing up. Crouches now as Seeley is into Marshall. Clipped away into the short fine leg area. Just a single. Ball not really having a lot of pace behind it. And just the one run to bring us to the end of over number 2. At the end of 2, the challengers set a target of 129 at 13 for no loss. Howell to continue. And Marshall punts this one away just inside the rope at long on. Ball falling just inches inside the rope. But pitched up from Howell, and Marshall getting that front foot forward. Lifting it over the fielder at long on, well, at deep mid on, who's now being pushed right back onto the rope. So Marshall gets the first boundary of the innings. It's 17 without loss. Gone all the way this time. Maximum from Carl Marshall. He definitely has declared his hand and shown his intentions. Howell getting a bit too full. And Marshall clearing the front leg. Wiping it wide of the mid-on fielder for 6. So 4 and 6 of the first deliveries of this, the third over. $23 without loss, the challengers. We already know who the teams to contest the first qualifier will be. As this delivery outside the awesome, played away square by Marshall. Looking in really good touch, Carl Marshall. So far as chance for an overthrow, chance taken, so an extra run given to the challengers. So like I said, we already know those two teams to challenge for the qualifier 1 come next Saturday morning at 10 o'clock at the Barbados National Oil Company. The team heading the table after the preliminaries will be the veterans. And they will be joined by the second place Limers. Limers, the defending champions. And I have with me the captain and successful captain too of the Limers, Keith Seal. And Keith, first of all, welcome, good afternoon. Congratulations for making it to the playoffs once again.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Wayne, and good afternoon, everyone, and thank you.
Well, yes, this is going via the World Wide Web, so all your fans out there across the globe are listening to you.
I can appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, yes, and I said congratulations to you. How has the tournament been this year so far? As you describe it?
I think the tournament has gone really well, excellently. I think the teams are all very evenly matched and so on, and despite the fact you have 1 or 2 teams, as the 2 playing now, who have not gotten off the mark in terms of points, I think all the games have been extremely competitive.
Well, yes, and how confident are you, though? I mean, you are the defending champions, and you come up against the veterans who are in red-hot form, and I suspect your main rivals throughout the years of the tournament.
Well, for sure. I think the both years that we have happened to won the tournament, we played against the veterans. Always a difficult team and a very challenging team to play against, but we pride ourselves in being confident and being able to play against whatever is thrown at us.
Well, we're going to see the start of the fourth over. 25 without loss, the challengers. In reply to 128 for 7 made by legends. We're talking to Keith Seal. Keith, you've been with the tournament from the very inception. How much have you been able to enjoy playing this level of cricket, the ages over 50?
Oh, very enjoyable, and what I've found is that so far every year has presented a different challenge. Every year has we have seen improvements in the tournament. So being here from the inception, I can actually say that this is a tournament that has gone from strength to strength over the 4 years. So very enjoyable.
Shock on the pad, but a hopeful appeal coming from the bowler Sealy. Bowling from a rather low trajectory. I'm noticing he's quite wrong armish. The action here from Sean Sealy. A new name to me.
Yeah. No, I don't know much of Sean, but we did play against them a game or two ago, and he presented a different challenge. Bowling his left arm, and he doesn't flight it much. He brings it on to you, and I think he can be quite a handful on his day.
You know, you talk about the improvements in the tournament, but obviously, I think part of that would have to be the fact that you have new players, let's say younger over 50s, coming into the loop every season. How has that been? How much of a change have you noticed that has brought to the tournament?
Oh, very refreshing. In fact, I am beginning to wonder how many more years I have in this tournament with these younger 50s coming in, and it's very refreshing, a lot more energy, and I think it brings a different aspect to the tournament. So always good to have the new blood and to see the younger guys coming in and adding that energy to it.
And what was any benefits, let me put it this way, to be derived from participating in such a tournament?
Well, I think first and foremost it gives us an opportunity to renew some rivalries. Definitely, you at the crease right now, you see Mark Seeley and Carl Marshall, who 20 years ago would have obviously been in their prime, and we get an opportunity to renew those rivalries we had 20, 25 years ago, and it's extremely interesting, extremely beneficial for us to come out over 50 now and renew those rivalries. So very enjoyable.
Well, we've had 4 overs, and the challengers now up to 27. Marshall doing the bulk of the scoring on 20, and the Seeley there not out on 3. This game quite important to both sides. The winner gives themselves a definite chance at a spot in the playoffs, while a loss here for the Legends will definitely eliminate them. Challengers with another game to play still would be very much in the hunt come next Saturday. But we've got another change of bowler. With the first change of bowling, in fact, Howell at the northern end replaced by Owen Gibson. Howell 2 overs for 18 runs. And Gibson bowling right arm, off spin, is short, whipped out towards the deep mid-wicket boundary. Seeley is going to come back for the second run. The return is a long loopy one from Richardson, and the 2 runs easily taken, bringing the total up to 29 without loss. So how much cricket do you play though outside of this Masters competition? Keith, I know you used to be quite prominent on the local scene for a number of years, but you still get to participate in the local domestic major competitions?
Not as much. Last year I played no games. I actually made myself available for the last 4 games of the season, and unfortunately the last 4 games of the season were rained out. So I've come into this competition with absolutely no cricket under my belt at the BCA level. I have only played the same tournament early in the year.
Well, that's it. So this is really now your major competition.
Main competition as it is at this point in time, for sure.
You look forward to every year, I guess.
Every year, for sure. And AMAS as well has really organized a number of tournaments and tours to other countries and so on, other islands, and I've been enjoying that as well, touring with the team. And as Anthony would have said, coming out of this tournament, we have also had the opportunity to represent the West Indies Masters as well in a number of their competitions.
Oh, yes. And what could you say that? Would you encourage others, players of your vintage, to get involved in? Would you like to see more of these kind of tournaments? Then let's put it that way.
Well, the difficulty with having more of these tournaments is really we compete with the national, the BCA tournaments and so on, and therefore there's a very limited opportunity to play. But certainly once there are available, and what AMAS is doing now is excellent for us at this age. I would encourage anyone to come out and participate, and the competition is real, as you would see. It's competitive. You get to renew over rivalries, and apart from the fact that we may not be able to run as many threes and twos as we used to, it is certainly a competitive tournament.
Yes, before I let you go, though, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to switch you now to something more current and among more progressive at the higher level, let's put it that way. Your thoughts on the position of the current test match? The second test, West Indies versus Australia. Of course, the West Indies in the hunt and in the game at this point in time. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I was a little disappointed in terms of the batting in the second inning. I think if we were able to put together a batting performance like we did on the first innings, we would certainly have a far more competitive total on the board. But having said that, I like the energy of this new team. I like the energy of the youngsters playing the game, and they have my full support. I know there are a number of people who believe that there are a few persons who might have been left out and who should have warranted players, but I'll be honest with you. At the end of the day, there are a number of our players who have decided that this is a livelihood for them, and that's fine. And this younger team, from what I have seen, they look very interested, very competitive, and they seem to be enjoying the cricket, so they have my full support. But where this game is concerned, I would have preferred to see probably another 70 or 80 runs to chase in the second innings.
Well, that's about it, and I guess we'll still keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best.
For sure.
Yes, so with that, I'm going to allow you to return to your socialist activities.
For sure.
And again, once again, wish you and your team the best as we look forward to those playoffs come next weekend.
Perfect. Thank you, Wayne. Has been a pleasure. Thank you.
Keith Seal, captain of the Limers, defending champions in the AMAS Masters, over 50s Masters T20 for 2024. And back to the play on the field. And the opening pair for the challengers still together after 5 overs and 5 balls. 38 without losses, the total. So they have already brought the required number of runs below the 3 figures. As Marshall, who has been the main scorer in this opening partnership, pushes one into the covers. No runs resulting. He is 27. Mark Seeley is 7. Sean Seeley has completed his 3rd over. Challengers 38 for none. Pace being generated by DJ Kurt, definitely above over 50's pace, as the first delivery of the new over is shot down. Good fielding there by the man George Reefer. At short third, moving away to his left and diving, restricting the scoring. Here comes Gibson, and this one driven up through mid-off. They go for one. They touch down, then decide not to go for the second. Howell is moving quite well. They're at long off. So one more to the total. Short delivery. Marshall looking to go with the tide. Looking to work it around on the onside. Ball keeping a bit low, as has been the pattern so far, especially with the border bowling from this northern end. A couple of balls have stayed down at that far end. As Gibson is in again. He's again into the pitch. Hit into the covers. They go for one. Harris at extra cover comes around to pick up inside, in front of the man at cover. Cover a bit deeper right on the edge of the circle. And Harris fielding at a short extra cover position. Another long one to Seeley. Total in the 40s, now 41 without loss. So good strong beginning here by the challengers. Marshall is swinging high over the boundary at deep mid-wicket. Another nice swing of the bat, getting it out of the middle, and the ball going with the wind towards the western side of the ground. The man at deep mid-wicket could only watch that ball sail over his head, and out to the roadway it went. That's another 6 to Carl Marshall. Brings us at the end of over number 7 to 47 without loss. Marshall on 34. So we've got some more spin being introduced. Different variety though. Left arms spin of Samud Mutara. With the challengers threatening to run away with this match. 47 without loss after 7. Mutara is bringing Seeley onto the front foot. Gently stroking it back along the onside of the pitch. There is no run. Slow left arm, Mutara. This one, again, a flatter trajectory, hit through the fielder there at cover. That's Pitt getting down, but the ball going right through his legs, I believe. Nutmegging the fielder. And they pick up a couple of runs. Seeley again stroking this one out to deep extra cover for a single to bring up the 50 for the challengers. 7 overs and 3 balls, 47 deliveries. contained 1 4 and 2 6s. The man who has hit both those sixes, Carl Marshall, is on strike. Gets a short delivery, which he pulls into the hands of the fielder there at short extra cover. It looks like Patrick Barrow licked down by that ball. The force of the ball pushing him onto the ground. Both him and the ball fall into the surface. A chance to Marshall. This time he's hitting this one rather crisply, but straight to Pitt in the covers. So he's got 3 men saving one in on the offside. Backward point cover and extra cover. Then there's a deep extra cover and the long off. Motara left arm around the wicket. Marshall comes down the track. Then recognizing that he was not getting to the pitch, has the awareness to make the adjustment and push it gently into the offside. 50 without loss after 8. So yet another left-arm orthodox spinner, George Reefer. So this is the third left-armer we've seen used by the Legends so far. Looking for a breakthrough. So Reefer with a lot of protection in the deep on the onside. Comes into bowl to Marshall. Bowls a full delivery on the off stump. Marshall is driving crisply but straight to the fielder there at extra cover. George Harris, no run. Marshall is looking to swat this one away into the onside. A delivery is much flatter trajectory. Pushed through a bit quicker too by Reefer. Ball just ending up at Marshall's feet actually. This time he's turning it away into the onside. He's thinking of going for a second run, but Skeet is moving quite briskly in from the deep square leg area, keeping the scoring down to 1. Marshall goes up to 35. The total up to 52. Brings Mark Seeley back on to strike. And he is textbook style, just choking this delivery into the covers. Finding a gap there too. There's a man right deep at cover to do the fielding, but can't prevent the single. So the strike again with Marshall. And he's hitting this one hard. He's hitting it straight. It's gone into the boundary. Hard, long, and straight. And picks up 4 runs, does Carl Marshall, of the final delivery of over number 9. An over that costs some 10 runs and leaves the challengers at 60 without loss at the end of over number 9. Let's make a slight adjustment to this total. The total now 57 without loss after 9 overs. Mutara to continue the bowling from the south. And Seeley is playing a nice dab behind point through the vacant gully area. Only for one. Swept away. Runs here for Marshall and the challengers. They have completed 2. The fielder, actually the ball has gone into the boundary for 4. So I did notice that George Harris pulled up somewhat, thinking that the ball might have been stopping inside the rope, but in fact it has made it all the way into the boundary at deep backward square, getting that delivery outside the legs, and Kenrick Marshall going for the sweep, getting it away for another boundary. That's his third 4 along with 2 sixes. He's into the 40s now on 43 and is down the wicket. The ball goes high in the air. It's going to land in front of Harris, coming in from that deep backward square position where he had just been posted after the previous shot. He would have been moved from a position of backward square, still not in a position to have taken a catch from his previous position. So now he has been brought halfway between the two. He's no longer at backward square saving 1. He's no longer right back on the boundary, but he has been brought in somewhat midway between those two positions, as Seeley is now turning this one away down to short fine leg, coming through for an easy run as the keeper has to skip away from his position. So runs flowing here at a steady rate for the challengers. 2 deliveries left in the 10th over. 64 without loss is the total. Remember, Legends 128 for 7 when they batted. As Marshall is on the back foot, pulls this one away, out to that man at the deep mid-wicket boundary. They're going to stay on one, a strong, bold return from out there in the deep. Marshall advances by 1 to 45. The challengers move to 65. Runs required reduced to 64. As we see a Virgin Airlines craft taking off from the Bradley Adams International Airport, lifting lazily like a pregnant woman walking up a hill. Tickled onto the onside. They will get another single. So that completes over number 10. Umpire Marshall signals to the dressing rooms that this is the refreshment break. 66 without loss. The challengers more than half of the way to the target of 129. 63 required from the last 10 overs. Mark Seeley on 17. Carl Marshall on 45.
Any investment in education is a positive step in the development of our society. Call the Calvary Institute. We offer a wide range of vocational and technology courses. We offer personalized support to students at primary and secondary level. Call us at 426-2337 or WhatsApp 851-2109.
So we head for home in this final of two matches today at the Foursquare Oval. 63 runs required off the last 10 overs. That is going to be reduced by at least 3 as Mark Seeley drives this one into the deep cover area. So they get 3 for that. He goes up to 20. The total up to 69. 2 overs for 18 runs, Roger Howell. Sean Seeley, 3 overs for 13. Owen Gibson, 2 overs, 15. Samad Mutara, 2 overs for 12. And George Reefer, 1 over for 7 before this. The bowlers used. And Carl Marshall on 45 not out is again putting this one away behind square. Skeet from deep mid-wicket moves around to his left and keeps the scoring down to just those 2. Marshall creeps a little closer to that coveted half-century mark. And now the runs equal balls. 58 runs required off 58 balls. Reefer to Marshall, he's hitting this one powerfully. Down to that man Pitt at long on. Ball traveling in the air for a long way, but then bouncing a couple of times before reaching the fielder. Marshall settling for the single. Brings Seeley back on strike. And Seeley is driving and missing outside the off stump. Throwing that one a bit wider there, Reefer. And drawn into the shot, Seeley. Ball through to the keeper. So a good moral victory for George Reefer. But the next delivery, Seeley is choking it and calling Marshall immediately through for a second run. The fielder having to come all the way off the rope at long off. That ball stopping just past the halfway mark between the bowler and the boundary. So the second run quite easily taken. Seeley deliberately stroking that ball with the weight off, allowing for that second run. Reefer is bowling this one a bit faster. And Seeley again onto the front foot, pushes it into the offside. A quiet end to over number 11 with 55 runs to make. 54 balls to come. The Challengers 74 without loss. So Mutara to continue. Remember, the competition continues tomorrow with the final round robin match. Marshall is lofting this one high into the offside, beats the fielder coming around from long off, and into the boundary it goes for 4. Advancing down the track, Carl Marshall brings up his 50. 4 fours, 2 sixes, 37 balls faced. Carl Marshall not out on 52. The Challengers 78 without loss. But he has been very assertive in this innings, Marshall, carrying the attack to the bowlers from quite early. He's striking the ball really well from ball 1. Has his timing going a powerful player, naturally, and enjoying this afternoon out here at the Foursquare Oval. A lovely afternoon it is too. Matara is into Marshall. Marshall begins to advance, then recognizing that he was never going to get to the pitch of that delivery, allows discretion to get the better of valor, and pushes it gently back along the pitch to the bowler. He lives to fight another day. Again, this one is flighted off the back foot this time, Marshall, but can't pierce that offside field. Straight to the man at extra cover, George Reefer. So good comeback by Matara after being struck for that boundary. Again, he's short. Again, Reefer is fielding well. Good movement by George Reefer there at extra cover, because that ball was hit quite well. It was traveling quickly to his left, having to get around and get down. Did that very well, Reefer. For the third consecutive delivery, it is Matara to Marshall to Reefer, and no run. I think some damage inflicted there though, because Reefer showing some concern to his fingers. Well, a scorching back foot stroke from Marshall as he is down the track and is bowled. So completing the comeback, Matara, he was struck for 4. He kept Marshall quiet, and then at the end gets him dismissed, breaching his defenses, bowled for 52, Karl Marshall. The first wicket goes of the final delivery of the 12th over. It is 78 for 1. So Donovan Lovell, the new batter, to the middle. He wouldn't be on strike immediately though. He'll have to, because he's at the non-strikers end. That wicket of Karl Marshall falling off the final delivery of the Samad Matara over. So it will be Mark Seeley facing up to George Reefer, and he's driving away into the deep on the offside. He's going to offer Lovell a second run. Lovell refuses the offer as the return comes in at the non-strikers end. So Lovell opting for caution about the return coming to the end to which he would have been running. Now he is going to have strike for the first time. Don Lovell. 50 runs the requirement from 47 balls. But a strong platform laid between Karl Marshall and Mark Seeley. Marshall 52 from 42 balls, 4 fours, 2 sixes. And Lovell gets a feel of ball onto bat. First up. Reefer is outside the off stump, dabbed away through the slip. Man at short third. Knocks it down. Lovell gets off the mark with that single. 80 for 1. Over number 13 in progress. Seeley is driving again quite fluently. Tempted to say graciously. Lovell gets a faster delivery. Hits it straight up to the extra cover fielder. No run. Again, this ball is outside the yard stump. Again, Lovell chooses to wait on it. Plays it late with an open face bat. Down to short third. Gets a single. Steals the strike. The end of 13. 82 for 1 is the total of the challengers. Matara, the only successful bowler so far, is going to complete his full allotment. He's bowling his fourth and final over. He's bowling to Don Lovell, 47 runs required from 42 balls. And Lovell faces up to a dot. We did mention that the qualifier 1 will come off next Saturday at 10 a.m. at the Barbados National Oil Company. The veterans who finished unbeaten in the round robin and at the top of the table will come up against the Limers. Limers being the defending champions and captain of the veterans team. Successful captain over the years too. Brian Johnson has joined us. Brian, your record over the years as veterans, fairly impressive. Can you give us a little rundown?
Good afternoon, Wayne. Good afternoon, Wayne. Good afternoon to the viewers and listeners. Yes, this is the 4th year that veterans have been basically been playing at. For the last 3 years, we have reached the finals. The first year we won. The next 2 years, we lost to the Limers. And this year, we are hoping to correct that. And we've been fairly consistent, very consistent over this competition, the period of this competition.
So having topped the standings, would you say you're going to the final as favorites?
Well, we are not into the finals as yet because that will be a playoff game next week, Saturday. The winner of that game will go straight to the finals. The loser then will have to play the winner between the 3rd and the 4th place.
Well, yes, but at this point in time, as I said, just using the fact that you top the table, do you consider yourself favorites at this point in time?
Yes, the thing is, I think we have been favorites over the last 4 years. It is just that we haven't put it together for the last 2 finals.
Well, in horse racing terms, you would say that you've always found one going better than you, or at least over the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, well, we're hoping to correct that this year. And so far, the guys have played very well. We've put together some fairly good innings. The batsmen have been looking pretty well, fairly good at the top. And we're hoping that we can continue this form right to the finals.
Well, 83 for 1 it is. 84 for 1 it is at the end of 14, which means that the challengers now requiring 45 runs from 36 balls. So the game's still very much on. They have got as many as 9 wickets still in hold. So I think that would favor their position. But Brian, What would you consider though your major strengths as the veterans?
I think it is our all-round strength. Looking at our team, we have a balanced team. Even even if you look at our all-rounders, we have some fair. You have Vibert Green, well known, who normally even in second division each year you will see him scoring runs and getting wickets. We have Anthony Morris, Ian Drakes, those are the all-rounders. And then you're looking at the batsmen, you have our prolific run scorer in all competitions, Ron Bates. We also have Pedro Eargard, myself. So we have a balanced team. I think our issue is just to make sure and put it together on that day, the final day.
And what do you see as the main dangers coming out of your opponents in the qualifier, the Limers, who are in fact the defending champions?
The Limers bowling attack, I think, is a very experienced attack. They love to restrict teams under 120.
Well, just let me pause to describe the applause in the background you heard would have been for a lofted drive by Mark Seeley for the first time actually deciding to go over the infield and finding that wide open space at deep extra cover and picking up a boundary. But he has looked very much in control ever since he's opened the innings with Carl Marshall at the top. So yes, you were telling me, Brian.
Yes, as I was saying, the Limers bowling attack is a very experienced attack, and they love to restrict teams under 120 or thereabouts. They have Victor at the top, who bowls tight, Cam, Winston Gittins, and then you have Dave Westwick in the middle, and they're well supported as well. The feeling too. So teams that play them have to make sure that they bat properly, keep them as much out of the game as possible, and then make sure that you put pressure on their batting as well, because even at the top, if they don't get away at the top, they do have some middle order batsmen that always turn over the strike. If you ever get the 6 runs or over, those guys like to run. You have Edward Ince, Dave Westwick, those fellas, Mark Seal, they love to run for over 50s. It is very good to see the sort of commitment and also the exuberance that they have.
And you, Brian, you still are very competitive at a fairly high level in domestic competitions. How do you compare playing among the masters with playing in regular local competition?
It is a bit different. When you play, I'd say at the intermediate level, you're going to meet a lot faster bowlers. You can use the pace of the ball. In this competition, the bowlers are a lot more skillful. They're slower, so therefore you have to use sometimes your strength to get away the ball. So it is still of a high quality.
In this competition, some of these matches are being streamed live across the globe, or more or less. For you, how much of an incentive is it knowing that you're being beamed across the world? How important do you see this as being for the future of this competition?
No, I think it is very important. It is a very good initiative by Anthony Morris, because you do have some over 50s, over 60s, and 40s competition that are played at the West Indies level that are led by Raj Singh, and this allows the guys to be seen by these guys. So there's a possibility that you can be picked to represent the West Indies team at that level, and I would think that at our age, that is the ultimate way to represent any of those teams.
Well, 92 for 1 after 15 overs, 37 runs required, 30 balls still to come. As it looks like Gibson returns to the attack from the south, and Seeley is driving up towards deep cover. The batsman showing some urgency going for the first run, come back easily for the second. So definitely a change in the tempo here by Mark Seeley. We saw him going over the top for the first time in the previous over, and we've also seen quite a lot more intent in the running between the wickets. Short slap to behind point, at least another 2 in the offing. Yes, 2 more runs. So you talked about West Indies, Brian, and as we look to wrap up this little chat, I'm going to ask you a question that I did ask of Keith Seal, one of the captain of your arch rival, the Limers. Your position as far as the test match, the second test between Australia and West Indies, as it goes into a very interesting fourth day.
Despite whatever happened, I think that this young team have done well for themselves in this second test match. And I mean that they were able to bowl Australia in the first test match, also the first innings, and I've put them under some kind of pressure. And I think it goes well in the future if these guys can stay together and keep playing at a professional level. I believe the West Indies could push on to have a very good and competitive team at the top.
So quite a refreshing scenario for West Indies cricket. As we said, going into Australia, it was like basically going into the Lions' den. This young team really has acquitted themselves very well. The pink ball cricket, the idea of day-night test cricket, though, we have seen it experimented with in the Caribbean, very limited. What do you see as the future, though, for day-night test cricket, with the pink ball in particular?
No, I think it is a good initiative. I think there's change always happen, and you have to be ready for that change. It's just it's just for the guys in order to make sure that their skill sets and temperament and so at that level, so that they can perform consistently. And that's one of the main things that test cricket, especially when you're playing against those good teams like Australia, England, India, that you're able to perform at a consistently high level.
97 for 1 after 16. 32 required from 24 balls. Mark Seeley not out on 36. Donovan Lovell not out on 5. 2 bowlers have completed the 4-over allotment. Samad Mutara 4 overs for 18 runs, and he has taken the only wicket to fall. George River has bowled his 4 for 27. And I think we're going to see Roger Howell, who started with the new ball, being reintroduced. Well, Brian, it has been a pleasure speaking with you. We look forward to seeing you and your team in action next Saturday morning at 10 a.m. I'm sure you're looking to get that match, put a win on it, continue your winning ways, and get a bit of a rest as you wait for we'll then await the final on February 7th. I've already wished Keith the best of luck. So I guess I should do the same thing for you. Only wishing the best of luck, and may the better team win come next Saturday.
Yeah, thanks very much, Wayne. I guess the thing is that both Keith and I come from the same secondary school.
Well, you don't have to remind me of that. Maybe our technical man to your left, Hackett, you may need to remind him, but you don't need to remind me about the university there in the cane fields at Society Plantation in St. John.
Yes, we always have a good game against Limers, win or lose. It is very competitive, and we have fun at the end.
Well, looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, too.
Wish you all the best.
All right, thanks very much.
Donovan Lovell smites one high and mighty. That is going to make it so much easier for the challengers. Howell comes back into the attack, and Lovell brings up the 100 in tremendous style, whipping this one high over mid-wicket. That's gone for 6. He goes to 11. The challengers 104 for 1. 100 coming off exactly 100 deliveries with 5 fours and 3 sixes. Again in the air, but it's going to fall well short of any fielder. Miscued this time by Lovell, coming off the bottom of the bat, falling in an area where a normal mid-off fielder might have been. But with Lovell in the mode he's in, the straight fielder is pushed right back on the rope. That's how it is into Seeley, and Seeley is driving a much more cultured looking shot up into the mid-off area again for 1. So Seeley moves up to 38. 23 runs from 20 balls. This delivery outside the off stump, going for a big heave, is Lovell. Trying to repeat the shot, but of course a different delivery altogether. The ball that he picked up was more length delivery, ball a bit straight. This delivery was wide of off stump. This one is also a bit straighter, and he gets it into the gap between the 2 deep fielders at long on and the deep mid wicket. Gets a couple of runs, not having the legs to make it out to the boundary this time. So that brings us to the end of over number 17. 3 overs left. It's 108 for 1. So with 21 runs required from 18 balls, the Legends just about hanging in there. They're going to need at least one really miserly over. And they have brought Sean Seeley on for his 4th over. And he starts with a single from Mark Seeley's bat out to deep mid-wicket. 20 runs from 17 balls. 109 for 1. 3 overs for 13 runs before this Seeley. He'll now bowl to Don Lovell. Lovell on 14. For the challengers. Lovell bowled for 14 or 17 balls with 1-6. And Jefferson Gibbons with the task of helping to usher the challengers home. The target now beginning to look a bit more steep. At the beginning of this over, they required 21 with 18 balls left. It's now 18 runs from 13 balls. As I mentioned earlier, the Legends continue to hang in there and gives themselves a chance. So Seeley with one delivery left in his fourth over. Gibbons settles and tries at a delivery outside the yard stump. Doesn't make contact. Through to keeper Best. The game has certainly made something of a twist. As I mentioned at the beginning of the over, they needed a tight over. Seeley provided it, and now they need 18 for 12, 111 for 2 after 18 overs. Some suggest that the 19th over is always the most critical in the second innings in T20 cricket. And this one is going to be important. A crucial 19th over to be bowled by Roger Howell. Seeley goes aerial. The fielder comes around and takes a very, very well-judged catch. That is Owen Gibson running around from long off. And again, a very critical strike. Mark Seeley, under the pressure of needing 18 from 12 balls, looks to go down the ground, hits it in the air, and Gibson showing good judgment, taking the catch. Seeley out for 39. Caught Gibson bowled Howell. It's 111 for 3. 18 runs from 11 balls. Mark Seeley comes back to a round of applause. So in comes Captain William Lashley, taking over the helm, trying to steer the Legends, the Challengers ship into port. He only have 11 balls to make the 18 runs required. Howell with his first wicket will be pumped. After that, comes into bowl to Lashley. Bowls a full toss, swung away, gone for 6. Much too easy for William Lashley. Nice loopy full toss. Lashley getting on the front foot, getting under it, and lifting it. Hitting with the wind over the boundary at deep mid-wicket. That eases the tension somewhat for the challengers. It increases the pressure, though, on the Legends. It's now 12 runs to be made from 10 balls. 12 runs from 10 balls. Wide of the off stump. Signaled a wide by umpire Marshall. The target decreases by 1. The balls required. Lashley comes forward, struck on the pad. Confident appeal coming from the fielding side. The batters come through for 1 leg by. So 119 for 3. 10 runs required from 9 balls. Jefferson Gibbons takes his guard. He's faced just the 1 delivery so far. Not yet off the mark. Howell is seeing Gibbons go onto the back foot and stroked straight to George Harris at short extra cover. That's a dot. Precious dot ball. 10 from 8. Full delivery. Beats the man there at short mid wicket. They go for 1. They are definitely going to have to come back for the second. The return up to the non-striker's end is on the bounce. Lashley eases back into his crease. And Gibbons gets off the mark with 2 important runs. 121 for 3. 1 delivery left in the penultimate over. 8 runs still required. Again he's short. This one is pulled away into the deep at square leg. The return is to the striker's end. A single off the final delivery. Howell 4 overs, 1 wicket for 39 runs. 122 for 3, the challengers. They require 7 runs from the last over. One off the first delivery. Owen Gibson bowling that final over. 6 runs required from 5 balls. Captain Lashley on strike. Who will it be? Turned into the onside. Goes quickly through for 1. 5 runs, 4 balls. One of these teams will leave here winless. The other will record their first win for the tournament. Gibson to Gibbons. Gibbons is down the track. Beats the man in that short cover. He's going to have to hobble away. Dave Pitt favoring the right leg, it seems. So 2 more runs 1-2-6 for three. 3 from 3. 1-2-6 for 3. 3 runs required. 3 balls remaining. Down the track and drives. The man comes in off the boundary at long off. Can't prevent the second run. Lift off from the Grantley Adams International Airport in the distance as the challengers look to take off on the way to a position in the playoff round of this, the 2024 version of the Amas Over 50s Masters T20. 1-1 required, 2 balls left. It's a tie at this point in time. And all the fielders brought in trying to save that single. So no one back on the boundary. Gibbons will have the strike. Man in the gully, a point, cover, extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, short backward square. Gibson into bowl to Gibbons. Down the track he goes and is stumped. More drama. Looking to get down the wicket, Gibbons. The delivery pushed through outside the off stump. Missing, and the wicketkeeper Best making no mistake, removing the bails. We have a situation where the scores are tied. Still one more run to be made for victory, with the final delivery to come. This is drama as only Tanti Merle can describe. So final delivery, David Innes, the man in the hot seat, who replaces Gibbons at the wicket. Gibbons stumped by Best of Gibson for 8, leaving the scores tied. 1 delivery left. Are we going to see for the first time this season a super over? Well, it can only be a super over or a win for the challengers. Struck on the pad, appeal goes up. The batters come through for the single, which is a leg by. And the challengers get home by the narrowest of margins, winning off the final delivery, a leg by served up. And with William Lashley not out on 7, Innes holds his nerve. And the Legends will go home without a point. Challengers pick up their first win and will definitely know, whatever the outcome of their match tomorrow with the Travelers, they will have a repeat meeting with the challengers in the eliminator, the first eliminator, come next Saturday afternoon at the Barbados National Oil Company. But what a finish it has been. What a thrilling climax to today's proceedings with the doubleheader. First of all, the veterans are maintaining their winning streak and defeating the Limers by some 37 runs in the first match. And now today, now later this afternoon, the challengers just getting home ahead of the Legends. The Legends winning the toss 128 for 7 when they batted. And off the last ball, The challengers finishing 124 for 9 to get home by 6 wickets. And I said claim a spot in the playoffs come next weekend at the Barbados National Oil Company. Congratulations to the challengers. Commiserations in store for the legends. If I can just run through the scorecard once again, a brief run through of the scorecard. The second innings in particular, 128 for 7 made by the legends, and now in this innings, Mark Seeley out for 39, Carl Marshall a blazing 52 off 42 balls with 4 fours and 2 sixes. Donovan Lovell contributed 14, Jefferson Gibbons 8, Captain William Lashley left not out on 7, and David Innes not out, no score. There were some 9 extras, 5 leg byes and 4 wides. And a quick look at the bowling. Howell 1 for 39, Seeley 1 for 14, Gibson 1 for 26, Mutara 1 for 18, and Reefer none for 27. The 5 bowlers used each bowling of 4 overs apiece. So victory to the challengers once again, and it has been certainly a pleasure bringing you this coverage. Of course, we're not going to quite say good evening yet. We'll be having a chat with one of our very important sponsors for the competition. Just to remind that tomorrow, the final game in the preliminaries, challengers take on travelers in a prelude to their eliminator come next Saturday at the oil company. So yes, we do have Mark Seeley. Mark wearing a completely different hat now. Congratulations to you and the challengers though on a very tight win.
Thank you very much. Yeah, very, very tight. It was a great game of cricket. The outfield's a little bit slow, so it doesn't really suit my style, but I was able to just knock it around a little bit with Carl Marshall. He did a fantastic job, made 50-something, and then Don Lovell came in and hit a couple of lusty blows, so we were lucky to get over the line.
Well, yes, and you yourself look very good. You haven't lost a lot, Mark. You just added some years. You don't even show it.
Well, I play a lot of squash, so I keep fairly fit. I think that's the main thing when it comes to over 50 cricket. You know, you've got to keep reasonably fit and agile, and you keep your hand-eye in. I play a lot of squash, so I'm lucky with that.
You talk about fitness, though. A lot of players sometimes people may get confused. Some people may want to play cricket to keep fit, while you seem to be on the opposite. You get fit to play cricket, don't you?
Well, I get fit to play squash, but luckily, you know, this Masters tournament by Anthony Morris Amass is really a wonderfully organized tournament. So this year, we decided, our company, Keep in Touch, we decided to sponsor the tournament because it's a very professionally run tournament.
So tell us a bit more, though, about Keep in Touch.
Well, Keep in Touch has about 3 divisions. The first division is automotive, and we wholesale all different types of automotive products like lubricants. We have Total lubricants, Extra Rev. We also have things like Delphi Lockheed brake fluid, Turtle Wax, Armor All, STP, WD-40, and the little trees that you hang in your car. So that goes in the automotive side, and then in the packaging side, we have all different types of empty bottles and caps. And you know, all those coconut vendors out there, they use the half-gallon with cap. And we also have all the seasoning people. They use the 9-ounce jam jar and caps. And the beauty care now in Barbados is getting pretty big. We have all those. We have virtually any bottle that you need for packaging in Barbados.
Although this coverage is going as far as out on the World Wide Web, of course, for the local market, can you give us a bit more detail as to where you can be located and such?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. In Wildy, in Webster Industrial Park, if you know the old Harris Paints building, and you just come down there, to come down that gap on your left-hand side is Do It Best, and we are right opposite Do It Best. Keep in touch. You can go in there, and we have 3 very friendly young ladies there, Sonja, Kelly, and Joy, and they will take care of you. And we got a great warehouse staff with the team leader, Jack, and they will look after it, pull your goods quickly. And, you know, we really pride ourselves on having quality products and getting you in and out as quickly as possible.
And of course, your sponsorship here with the mask. Would you be willing to give it the details of what your sponsorship entails?
Well, our sponsor entails a monetary sponsorship. And, you know, the reason why I played in the tournament last year, it was so well organized. The kit is great. All the guys. I mean, look, when I played cricket years ago, all these guys I played with, and we had a wonderful time. After the match, you know, we played it hard on the field, and then after the match, we went away and we had a chat about the cricket. And nothing's really changed except that we talk a little bit about injuries now because we're a little bit older. But besides that, you know, the camaraderie is so great. They talk about, you know, the younger generation now, you know, they just leave the cricket. That wasn't the way it was in our time. You know, we went in, we talked about, well, how do you do this, how do you do that. We just wanted to learn a little bit to give us that little edge. And, you know, that sort of camaraderie is still around here, so it's really a fantastic tournament.
Of course, you would want to encourage even more of the masters to get involved.
Absolutely. Hopefully, you know, Amas can get more teams, but it is beautifully organized. The wickets are always good. You know, the challenge with Barbados when it comes to outfields is the grass is a different type of grass, so the ball doesn't really flow as much as, say, if you're playing in England. But besides that, everything is beautifully organized. Everything is covered. Everybody has their name on their, I think you've got 16 players a team, so you can rotate if somebody's injured. It's beautifully organized, and of course, even the media, yourselves and everybody here, there's a whole heap of technology here, and it is, you know, broadcast all over the internet, so that's fantastic. It's a very professionally run setup.
Well, Mark, I wish you the best of luck in your playoff next Saturday afternoon. We look forward to seeing you, and thank you so much for joining us, and of course expressing on the behalf of Mr. Morris and his group their gratitude for your input.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Fine. Good evening. So that is about wrapping it up from here at this end of things. The spectators, the players, the whole atmosphere continues to bubble here, and all the players we've spoken to today. One of the more important aspects of this competition like this is what happens after the game is over. We thank you for joining us. It has been a pleasure bringing it to you, and we look forward to you joining us for more coverage on this. The Amas Over 50s T20 competition 2024. Wayne Holder saying goodbye from the Foursquare Oval.